Hello, my friends. Welcome to another episode of Deep True Crime. In today's episode, I want to dive into the Bryan Kohberger case. We haven't discussed it in a little while. No big developments going on since his arrest for the most part. I'm not going to just find any little reason to keep him on my channel. I want it to be effective because this is not about him. This is about these victims getting justice for one of the most heinous crimes known to man. Because what happened in Idaho, in Moscow, Idaho, is unbelievable. And so we continue to learn more. Well, he has finally been officially indicted in the case in the Idaho Court. Let's go ahead and dive into what we know at this time. Rest in peace to the 4 innocent victims who were taken from this world way too soon. Rest in peace to the Idaho 4. Let's go ahead and dive into what we know at this time. Well, Bryan Kohberger, the man who is accused in this heinous slaying of the 4 young Idaho students, the suspected quadruple murderer, Bryan Kohberger, he will finally appear in court a little earlier than was originally expected. He's going to be in court on Monday. That's May 22nd, 2023, and he will enter a plea to the felony charges of murder that he's accused of in a Latah County Court in Idaho. And Latah, they confirm that a grand jury had indicted Kohberger and that he would appear on Monday at 9 a.m. Now, Bryan Kohberger, the man, the doctorate student who is accused of the most heinous, he's accused of murdering the University of Idaho students, Kaylee Goncalves, who was only 21 years old, Madison Mogen, only 21, and Xana Kernodle, 20 years old, and her boyfriend, who was spending the night, or at least was over there at the time, 20 years old, on November 13th of last year. Now, the alleged killer, he was extradited from Pennsylvania after they were surveilling him for days. And so they extradited him back to Idaho in January of this year. But he was not formally indicted on the 4 felony murder charges and burglary. Now, he did waive his right to a speedy preliminary hearing at the time, pushing it back 6 months until June. But the decision by the grand jury means there is no need for a preliminary hearing. Now, generally, these things are done in secret, so you don't even know that it was going on. I don't know why. Maybe it's a media thing or something along those lines. But this means that the surviving roommates will not have to face Kohberger unless he pleads not guilty, which would mean the case would then go to trial. And so a grand jury hearing, again, it's generally done in secret. It's not conducted in an open court, with 16 members of the general public hearing evidence from the prosecution. The defense and their legal team and everyone involved, along with the defendant, they're not allowed to attend a hearing. That is why it's a secret. But Kohberger's legal team will receive a transcript of the proceedings of this secret grand jury. This news, it comes after it was revealed that Kohberger has received dozens of handwritten love letters from supporters believing that he is actually innocent. And so here he is, this man that is accused. Again, you always have this, right? This is not any secret of any means, right? You always have two sides. You have those who believe you or even don't care. They believe you, or they don't believe you are innocent, but they're actually into that type of stuff. I don't get it at all. You see it time and time again. Someone convicted in the court of law and someone else marrying them. Whether they want the attention, I don't know. But here is another one. This guy is having a lot of females basically pen paling, throwing themselves through love letters. And so here we find out that once again, a lot more love letters are coming to Bryan Kohberger, the man who is accused in one of the most heinous crime, who is being held without bond at the Latah County Jail. And so he has been receiving more than 24 handwritten love letters. So people are sending him love letters as he is awaiting trial for the brutal slaying. Now, one employee at the jail, who, again, I'm sure you already know, you do not know his name, but this person has frequent contact with the inmate, and he shares that he's getting these love letters a couple times a week, something along those lines, and they're usually written with hearts and stars, having colored envelopes. Sounds pretty kiddish if you ask me. Everyone in the jail talks about it being weird. That's what this anonymous jailer. You always have to take this with a grain of salt. Even in this case, a lot of people have been just throwing things out there as truth. One person who got out threw out lies, basic lies, for them to receive attention in this heinous case. I mean, everyone's talking about this, national driven headlines. And so now what the letters say, we don't really know. We don't even know how many. It could be a lot more. It could be exaggeration. We don't know everything. But we do know that he is accused of this heinous crime. That part we do know. Now, this secret grand jury, we're going to find out more. But as we continue to learn, here he is receiving love letters. He's receiving, basically being very quiet around this whole thing. He's not talking. We are going to find out more. But there has been some court documents that have revealed that his defense team, they were set to interview surviving roommates Bethany Funk, and her lawyers argued that she should not have to testify at the preliminary hearing. So they have been going back and forth on whether the surviving roommates should testify, get up, and face their accused threat. Both sides, they came to an agreement that the defense would go to Funk for an interview in Nevada, dismissing a subpoena that they originally had issued on April 11th. And so one of the investigators, Richard Batoni, who was working for Kohberger's side of the law, his defense team, they had subpoenaed Funk on the basis that she may have exculpatory information. Excuse me on that. And so they claim that the information she has is material and necessary to the alleged defense that they are going to plan on providing. But no one's sharing exactly what that is. And so that they're saying that we want Bethany to say. And it could be a number of different reasons, right? Like why wouldn't he had killed them? What are their kind of reasons? Maybe they are mistaken. Why didn't Bethany, they're going to have so many questions. But they claim that the information that she has is material and necessary to his defense. And so they have a lot of evidence, but they're not sharing so much what that evidence is. You see, this is the apartment that Bryan Kohberger was living at. They have evidence that they have found there in his apartments. And so they're saying that they have a lot on him, the prosecution, which is why the grand jury would say, yes, there looks to be enough information for us to proceed with this. Now, Richard Bittanti, the investigator for the defense, he wrote in an affidavit, during the course of my investigation, it became known to me that she, I believe Bethany Funk, has information material to the charges against Mr. Kohberger. He adds that she disclosed things that she heard and things she saw when she was interviewed by police, and that she was present when police were called. You see, they're going to try to tie to Bethany and Dylan. Why did you guys wait 9 hours? Why did you guys call other people first? Granted, I am really curious as to why. But could it be damning to the prosecution side what she would say? And so that's why Funk's lawyers have been very adamant. They did not want her to testify, probably for those exact reasons. And so there are things that the defense side, the investigator Richard Bittanti, is saying that, she disclosed things that she heard and things that she saw. I'm throwing in that part. Disclosed things she heard and things she saw is what, when she was interviewed. So they're going to ask her questions about those things that she disclosed and things that she says that she heard and saw at that home. Now, her lawyers, they're saying that the preliminary here is not meant to become a mini trial and is only meant to decide probable cause on whether they should proceed with the case. And so they need the jury to say, yes, let's proceed, right? And so Funk's lawyers, they're saying that she doesn't need to do all that. They also said that the subpoena was improperly filed and there is no authority for an Idaho criminal defendant to summon a Nevada witness to Idaho for a preliminary hearing. That's what they're sharing in this case. Now, Bethany Funk, she is a potential witness, right? She's just a potential witness in this case. That is really it when it comes to this whole thing. But at the end of the day, she knows something. But if she refuses, a subpoena can force her to attend court and get on the stand, even if she chooses not to do it. Now, granted, when she gets up there and she pleads fifth, why would she do that? I don't really know, right? So a lot of this we continue to learn about in this case. But if a witness refuses to testify after being ordered to do so by a subpoena, they can be held in contempt of court. And they can be fined, or they can have to spend up to 25 days in jail. We've seen it happen. We've seen it happen before. Again, they can invoke their Fifth Amendment, right? They can refuse to testify at the hearing. But, why would they do that unless it implicates them in a crime? Again, there's so many things. I'm not going to play lawyer here. I would love to interview a lawyer. Maybe I should do that. But we have to ask ourselves, why wouldn't Bethany and Dylan want to get up there and talk, other than we know that this was him and this is how we know? But there's so many sides to this. We have to be respectful for everyone's side. Now, according to the statement of Officer Brett Payne, Funk and the other surviving roommate, Dylan Mortensen, they were at home at the time of the homicides. That's why they're wanting to get their version on the stand and share what it is that they know. That also gives the defense a side to grill them on the stand. And granted, they're going to go up there to defend their client. It's up to the prosecution to prove without a shadow of a doubt that Bryan Kohberger is the perp. that is responsible for this. It's up to the defense to wash away every little thing they try to bring at them. And Dylan and Bethany being up there, who would come out on top when that grilling begins? I would say the prosecution, but I don't know how good the defense is, right? Because at the end of the day, it's about that jury and what they hear and what they feel and what they believe. And they go with their faith, right? So they both get you get your prosecution, you get your defense, and then you get the jury to decide. That is how generally it goes for the most part. But what we want to know now is what happens now, because now this happens a lot sooner. Now, Bethany's bedroom is described as being located on the east side of the first floor of the property, and she heard Ethan and Xana return to the property at 1:45 on the night of the murders. Now, her Mortenson's account, she says she saw a tall man who was clad in black clothing and a mask. And that's what she detailed in the document. But Funk's version of events has not been released to the public, though both roommates were forensically downloaded by officers, leading them to believe that the crimes occurred between 4 and 4:25 in the morning. And so that's where it's like, okay, after that, where does it go with all of that, right? Who goes to the full part of this? Because truth is, there's a lot more to this. We've only heard people's own sides of things, right? We don't really know all the facts. We never know all the facts, do we? And so we do know that, you have Idaho versus Bryan Kohberger, right? And Kohberger is the person that is said to be responsible for this. They say that they have DNA. They have the knife sheath, but still no weapon. So we have to think about that as well. No weapon. How do they have the sheath? Was it planted there? We don't really know. Because here's what's going to happen when the time comes. We're going to find out in the court of law so much more. That's how it goes. We're only hearing the beginning part. We're going to have the whole case bit by bit in front of us. Then it's up to the jury to decide. But here is the truth, my friends. This is not about us. This is about the 4 innocent victims that were taken from this world way too soon for no reason at all. Now, we just want justice for these 4. And we want the right person behind us. Again, what we are finding out, let me tell you, when it comes to that affidavit, I feel like we better find out more. If you're going to charge this one man with this heinous crime, one man is said to have done this to 4 people. In a day and age where you have so much technology, I'm guessing there's going to be a lot more that has to be behind us for them to put this man away. Again, this is still the beginning. Now, is he going to plead guilty or not guilty? I think we find out Monday, my friends. This is an ongoing case. And again, this is not about me. This is not about Bryan Kohberger. It's about getting justice for Idaho 4. Rest in peace to those 4 young kids taken from this world way too soon. Until next time, my friends, be safe, be aware, be careful. And hey, if this is the type of content you like to follow, hit this subscribe button. That way you get notified whenever we go live or I upload any content. And my friends, if you do get some value, hit that like button. That lets YouTube know there's value. Show it to more people. I'm Manny Rodriguez. I look forward to serving you and being a voice for more victims. That's all I'm here for. Until next time, peace. Have a great day. Be careful out there.